This video is going to be very important. Unlike in the past, you are going to get only one chance at getting your F1 student visa this year. As per the new supposed rules, if you do not get F1 student visa to the United States this year, you will have to wait until next year to try again for another slot. Therefore, you have to be very well prepared and you have to give your best shot. And now I will share with you what all happened during my student visa interview. So I came to the US in 2006 and I had my visa interview in July of 2006. The last 3 months when I lived in India, I was in Mumbai, and therefore I applied for a visa at the Mumbai consulate. And Mumbai consulate is probably the most interesting consulate to apply for a visa. What I can still recall is that 5 days before my visa appointment, I had to go for my fingerprinting appointment at the consulate. And I vividly remember in front of me waiting in the line were Nitin Mukesh, the famous singer Nitin Mukesh, and his son. At the time he was not famous and his name is Neil Nitin Mukesh. And everybody in that line was quite stressed, so nobody actually bothered them. What I remember from that day is that they take your fingerprints and then they also look at the picture that you have taken for the visa. If your picture is not according to their specifications, they have a photo studio right there to get you another picture. And because your picture might get taken, I recommend that you dress well even for fingerprinting appointment. I personally recommend business casual. However, if you want to go that far, you can even go with business formal in a suit and a tie. And then 5 days later, I had to go for my visa appointment. And if you go to a visa appointment, I would strongly recommend carrying a piano folder. What a piano folder looks like is this. In fact, this is exactly the same folder that I took with me for my visa interview and I still have this today. Okay, so what piano folder looks like is this. If you open it, you will have all these separate folders and you can put all your documents inside this. And each one of the folders should be nicely labeled. In fact, I will show you the labels that I still have to this day. And I recommend that because any document that the visa officer may ask you, you should be able to produce it very quickly. You cannot afford to lose time on that. So let me show you what all this folder contained. Okay, so here we go. And if you see, each of these folders is nicely labeled. And the very first folder had my I-20, my HDFC appointment letter, and so on. And at number 2, I had my scorecards, which were GRE, TOEFL, and TSE. In the third folder, I had my degree and my mark sheets, all the transcripts. Okay, and then I had my all other I-20s. I-20 admission letters from all other universities is what this folder contained. Next was my balance sheet. Okay, and then I had my financial documents, which were my savings certificate, passbook, and whatever proof, I don't remember what it was. And then I had my father's bank account because my father was one of the sponsors. And then I don't remember what this 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stands for. And then at number 8, I had insurance papers. I don't exactly remember what these insurance papers are. But then in the end, I had more financial documents, which was apartment documents that my father owned at the time and income tax returns. Okay, and it also had my loan documents. And this is how my whole folder looked like. And obviously, the first thing in that folder was my passport, right? And now going back to the day when my visa interview was actually scheduled, I remember that before me, there was a whole group of musicians who were waiting for their visa interview. And 2 people I distinctly remember who interviewed right before me were Indian Idol 1, the first season of Indian Idol winner Abhijit Sawant, and famous singer Alisha Chennai. I guess they were there to get a visa because they had a concert tour of the US. And the funny thing I remember is that the visa officer actually made them show their talent. So he actually made them sing their songs. And I still remember Alisha Chennai singing for that visa. I don't remember what song she sang, but I clearly remember she's singing for the visa officer, which was quite weird. And right after them, it was my turn for my visa interview. My visa interviewer was a young man. I think he was about 28, 30 years old. Now, before I go into details of what happened in my interview, please remember this. Please do not get affected by what happens with others. If other people before you got their visa approved or if they were denied, you should be completely indifferent to that. It is not your interview, it was their interview. So if you see some people jumping around and some people getting very sad, do not bother. Simply put, it makes no difference to your chance of getting your visa, and therefore it is very important to stay calm and confident. The very first question he asked me was what university you are going to and for what degree. And I told him that I am going to Georgia State University in Atlanta, Georgia for a master's in computer science. And the second question was, why computer science at Georgia State? And I was quite well prepared for that question. I think I prepared in the terms of what kind of curriculum they had and how it interests me. And some of the professors there were working on quite some interesting topics, which were quite fascinating for me. And I was really interested to learn about those topics. And therefore, I chose Georgia State University over other universities. Now, I was expecting him to ask the next question was, what other universities you had applied to, but he did not ask me that question. And the third question he asked me was, show me your test scores. Even though I was not really expecting that, but I was well prepared already, as you saw. And I first gave him my GRE scorecard, but he did not seem very interested in it. And then I showed him my TOEFL scorecard and he took a close look at it. A key point to remember here is that your ability to communicate in English language is very important. The visa officer is keenly observing how you communicate and if you really understand what he is saying. And please remember, if they ask for your test scores, they are more interested in your English language test scores and not your GRE test scores. The reason is that GRE scores are not universal. For example, GRE exam is required, at least at the time it was required for all people who were applying for graduate degrees. Even history, philosophy or geography people would take GRE and so would people going for electrical engineering or computer science. Now, how do you compare these two diverse groups on one GRE score, right? For example, for history or philosophy student, the quant score would not matter at all. Therefore, these people assume that if you have been given admission, those standardized test scores were already satisfactory. So they are now more interested in your English language test scores. And it is important, so much so that without good score on your English language test, you won't even get admission, forget visa. However, these days, getting your slot for traditional English language tests has become very difficult. But now we have a good news actually. There is an alternate English exam in which you can maximize your score. And this English exam is widely accepted across many universities. And that exam is called Duolingo English Test, or in short, DET. There are many advantages of taking DET over other standard English exams such as TOEFL or IELTS. Among the other things, that it is cheap, it is very convenient to schedule, and you can take it from your home, and that you can send your score to 40 universities. And all such advantages are too good to let go. To know more about DET, let us talk to Caroline. So hi Caroline, welcome to my channel.
Hi everybody, my name is Caroline and I work on the test taker team at the Duolingo English Test. Thanks so much, Chaitanya, for having me on your channel.
My first question to you is that what makes DET different from other tests?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there are a lot of differences between the Duolingo English Test and a more traditional English proficiency test, but I'll talk about three of the major ones here. The first one is that the DET was born digital. So what that means is we created the test to be administered online on demand. There is no in-person testing, there's no appointment required, there is no travel to a test center. All you need to take the test is a computer, a stable Wi-Fi connection, and 1 hour of free time. The second major difference is that the test is more affordable than a lot of other options. So one Duolingo English test costs $49 US, and there is no additional cost to send your results. So you can send your certified results for free to any institution in the world that accepts the Duolingo English test. And the third difference I'll talk about is that the Duolingo English test is faster than a lot of other options out there. Part of that is because of the AI technology that we use and the nature of our test, which is a computer adaptive test. So the length of the test is shorter. It's only 1 hour long, and you also receive your results within 48 hours.
Thank you, Caroline. That sounds really good. Following that, my second question is, how long should it take to prepare for Duolingo English test?
Another great question. So the Duolingo English test is designed really to do one thing, which is measure your English proficiency, right? So it is not measuring your ability to take a test or your ability to memorize what's on the test. So one piece of guidance we always give to test takers is that the best way to improve your score is to improve your English proficiency. If you already have great English or you're confident in your level, you could take it right now if you wanted to. But that said, we do understand that a lot of test takers like to prepare or feel more ready. We use the term test readiness here at Duolingo. And we do see a lot of test takers doing that in the weeks and months leading up to the test. Things that they might do include taking a practice test, practicing English daily. This is a really important one if English is not your native language. Make sure you're practicing all the time and using all your skills to make sure your proficiency is really at its best when you're taking the test.
Thank you again. That was really helpful. Now, my third and final question for you is, what kind of resources do you need to prepare for DET?
Yeah, so this kind of goes back to my previous answer in that my number one piece of advice for test takers would be to make sure you're using all your English skills daily in the time leading up to when you're going to take the test. That said, I do hear from test takers a lot that they want to feel ready to take the test and want to know what to expect once they get to the test. And for that, we have a lot of great free resources for you. So the first one I'll mention is the practice test. This is a favorite by far among test takers. It is a free short version of our real test, and it is available again for free on our website. It's 15 minutes long, and it's going to show you all the question types that are on the real test, and it's also going to kind of teach you how to interact with the test itself. So you can take that as many times as you want. I would say that keep in mind this is a shorter version. It's not scored or proctored the same way that our real tests are, so it's going to give you an estimated score range once you finish the practice test, and do keep in mind that that's an estimate. The second resource I would recommend to you is our official guide for test takers. This is again available for free on our website. It's a huge document with all kinds of information in it. It describes each question type in detail. It walks you through how to set up the test and how you're going to move through the test. It talks about our rules and requirements and our scoring, and how to send your scores. And lots of other information. There's also things like test tips and additional practice material in there, so I would definitely check that out. And if you do have any specific questions about the topics I just mentioned, you can also always chat into our support team, who are available with the orange help button on our website. Or you can check out the FAQ page on our website, which has answers to the most frequently asked questions that we get. And finally, my favorite resource is YouTube. I love YouTube for learning things, and there's tons of great DET content out there. Definitely head over to the Duolingo English Test YouTube channel. I make videos over there about the test, so subscribe to me and leave me a comment about what you want to see next on the channel.
Thank you, Caroline, for giving all such good answers. I wish I had the opportunity to take DET when I was applying to universities, but you can do that. The link to take DET exam and register for it is given in the description below. And not just that, I've also provided a promo code along with that link. Using that promo code, you will get 15% off for your test charges. But please remember, the promo code expires on July 1st, 2022. If you want to know more about Duolingo English Test, you can check out their YouTube channel where Caroline has provided many detailed answers to all your questions. Caroline provides excellent guidance in her videos there. Now the fourth and the final question the visa interviewer asked me was, how will you pay for your education? Show me your financial documents. And then I took each one of those documents from my piano folder and gave them to the visa officer. And as I was giving those documents, I was also explaining what those documents were about. He then took a quick look at all those documents and said those golden words, "I approve your visa." And the moment he said that, I was so happy and I kept thanking him. I think I must have thanked him like 3 or 4 times, which I, looking back, think that it was too much. I should have stayed calm and composed, and I just should have said, "Thank you so much," and I should have just left. So well, that was my visa interview experience. I hope that was helpful in some way. I wish you all the best, and please be well prepared, and please keep all the documentations with you. Be confident you have got the admission. This is just the final step before you are able to book your flights. And I wholeheartedly welcome to the United States of America. I wish that you will have great time studying here. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind and God bless America.